The darkness of the Inquisition's interrogation chambers was not merely lit by flickering torches. It was defined by the perverse application of a rudimentary yet implacable engineering. The Judas Cradle is in humanity's collective memory, often relegated to the folklore of medieval horror, a visual icon of an era where the light of reason was stifled by the spectacle of state punishment. However, if we isolate the ideological burden and the drama of visceral suffering, what remains is a fascinating, terrifying object of study, and above all, an exemplary case of the practical application of classical physics applied to biological destruction. From a strict forensic engineering standpoint, the Judas Cradle was not conceived as a simple tool of pain or a machine for rapid extermination. It was not designed to cause a catastrophic or immediate structural failure, like the guillotine blade or the cervical traction of the gallows. Instead, it was designed as a long-duration load management device, focused on manipulating biological tolerance to extreme point loading. To understand why pressure applied at a specific geometric coordinate became the supreme catalyst for human collapse, we must abandon narratives of pure cruelty and embrace the laws of statics, biomechanics, and organic material integrity. Before we dissect the invisible forces and mathematical calculations that transform this instrument into a masterpiece of mechanical trauma, if you seek to understand the science behind history's darkest secrets with unshakable technical rigor, subscribe now to DaVinci Explains. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our historical autopsies and join a community that values evidence over myth. Basic physics teaches us that pressure is not just raw force, but the direct result of that force applied over a specific surface area, expressed by the fundamental equation P=5. In most mechanical accidents the human body faces in daily life, such as an accidental fall or a blunt impact, the contact surface area is usually broad, which distributes the kinetic energy and minimizes local tissue damage. The Judas Cradle radically and geometrically inverts this fundamental logic by concentrating the total weight of an adult human body onto the apex of a rigid pyramid made of wood or iron. The surface area A becomes infinitesimal, mathematically tending towards zero. Imagine the arithmetic of destruction. As the denominator of our equation, A decreases, the result, the pressure, increases exponentially. This means that even with a relatively small force consisting only of the gravitational load of the victim's own body, the resulting pressure at the point of contact becomes astronomically high, exceeding the resistance of any biological alloy. The physics of the device are not based on the magnitude of force, but on the maximization of contact pressure through the geometric minimization of the support area. It is a cold, calculated study of how shape can be used to amplify biological damage. When the body is positioned over the pyramid's vertex, the soft tissues of the perineal region and the muscular fascia are subjected to a load that exceeds in a matter of milliseconds the elastic limit of resistance of any known human tissue. Unlike a cutting instrument, which separates fibers through the kinetic energy of a high-speed impact, the Judas Cradle operates through penetration by static compression. The tip of the pyramid acts as a stress riser, a technical engineering term for a stress concentrator. It forces the separation of muscular layers and connective tissues not by slicing, but by means of localized hydrostatic pressure that crushes cellular membranes. Biologically, this process triggers a cascade failure at the cellular level. Local blood vessels suffer immediate occlusion under the compression, preventing oxygen perfusion and the removal of metabolic waste. Meanwhile, the extreme mechanical deformation of the tissues triggers a sensory discharge, an electrical scream from the nerves that completely overwhelms the processing centers of the central nervous system. Imagine what occurs at the microscopic level of this interface between wood and flesh. The human body is largely composed of fluids and elastic structures protected by a resilient dermis. Beneath the tip of the cradle, blood is literally expelled from the capillaries into the peripheral zones, creating an island of severe ischemia at the center of the impact. But the mechanical horror does not stop at the epithelial surface. Pelvic anatomy is a basin-like structure, designed by millions of years of evolution to sustain vital organs and distribute the weight of the torso to the legs. The Judas Cradle ignores this lateral bony protection, and directly attacks the pelvic floor, a complex network of muscles, nerves, and fascia that lacks skeletal reinforcement against upward vertical intrusions. As gravity pulls the victim's mass downward, the vertex acts as a wedge. It is not just piercing, it is displacing the body's center of mass, forcing the skeletal structure away from its natural axis and testing the rupture limits of the sacroiliac ligaments. The system enters a state of unstable equilibrium, where any instinctive attempt by the victim to alleviate the pain results in a new force vector, generating further internal tissue damage. We are only scratching the surface of the biomechanics of pain and the resistance of biological materials. If this scientific deconstruction is changing your perception of the fragility and strength of human anatomy, leave a like and help DaVinci Explains bring forensic knowledge to more restless minds. Your subscription is the fuel that keeps our technical and authoritative research alive. Extreme suffering in this engineering scenario is the direct byproduct of a catastrophic failure in the body's ability to manage static load. The pain the victim feels is not purely mechanical. It is a neurophysiological response to a massive overload of electrical signals. The concentration of force into an area of square millimeters overwhelms the nociceptors, our high-fidelity pain sensors, continuously and implacably. While methods like the Guillotine seek system collapse through acute trauma, instantly shutting down the central processor, the Judas Cradle utilizes constant weight as a method of static loading. The victim desperately attempts to alleviate the pressure by using the muscles of the legs and arms to lift themselves. But here the physics of fatigue are absolute. The body enters a cycle of rapid ATP adenosine triphosphate consumption. When glycogen stores are depleted and lactic acid floods the muscle fibers, resistance ceases. At that moment, the body descends a few more millimeters onto the vertex, initiating a new cycle of trauma. It is the design of exhaustion. The torture lasts as long as biology takes to fail in its struggle against gravity. From a material science perspective, the human body was not designed to sustain a concentrated load on a single vertex. Our support structures are masterpieces of impact distribution through joint surfaces and arches. By forcing a localized failure in a global load distribution system, the Judas Cradle compels biology to work against the fundamental laws of its own maintenance. It is the supreme evidence that the effectiveness of a mechanism is not measured by the brutality with which it attacks, but by the precision with which it identifies the target's geometric weakness. The executioner did not need massive engines. He used the victim's own gravitational potential energy as the fuel for their destruction. Every centimeter of descent represents a new layer of ruptured fascia and a new crushed nerve, transforming the victim's anatomy into a systemic decay timer, where the only variable is the time required for neurogenic shock to finalize what geometry began. The Judas Cradle remains in history not just as an artifact of barbarism, but as a somber lesson in forensic engineering. It proves that geometry, when applied to biology with malicious intent, can be as lethal as the heaviest of kinetic weapons. It reminds us that human survival is a delicate system of stress optimization. We break that balance, and the architecture of the self collapses. The instrument is a physical reminder that the body is a machine made of biological gears and support structures, all functioning under physical rules that offer no mercy. The tragedy of the cradle is the absolute demonstration that, by manipulating the surface area of a load, we transform the weight of the body itself into the most destructive tool ever created against it. It is the silence of an equation resolved against the flesh, where biology is just one more material subject to the inexorable laws of pressure and structural failure. The truth is rarely comfortable, but the science behind it is the only tool capable of illuminating our history and our resilience. If you value this deep, forensic dive into the mechanics of the past, don't forget to subscribe to DaVinci Explains. Comment below, what other instrument of history would you like us to dissect under the lens of physics and biology? Thank you for watching and for seeking knowledge where others see only shadows. Keep your mind sharp and your curiosity active. Until the next analysis.